Welcome to the latest episode of KapVista Klips. Today we're here with Danny from Novacastle. How are you?
Good, good. How are you, Daniel?
I'm great. So I want to jump straight in. I want to find out about you. I want to find out about your background, everything you've done to brought you to this point. So I'll pass it over to you. Give us
Yep.
your background. Give
Yeah,
us your who you are.
sure. I started off my career about 30 years ago in finance, stockbroking, and property as well. I did 7 years in Asia, primarily in finance and stockbroking. Um, then I came back to Australia after I was in China for 3 years. I came back in about 2017, roughly, and I did some more property stuff. But I really wanted to sort of realign my focus and get into a business and build a business that coupled return with some sort of community good, some sort of social good as well. There had to be more than just making a profit, and that was it. So after about 3 years of research, I started Nova Castle, and that sort of answered those questions. And for me, for Nova Castle, it's really doing two things. It's delivering affordable housing,
Mhm.
which obviously there's a massive need, and also disability housing. So the great thing is we have a partnership with a leading Australian not-for-profit disability provider that has a huge need for housing on the east coast of Australia. So Queensland, New South Wales, ACT, and Victoria. We're probably looking at doing about 100 houses in the first year alone. And demand is really expected to increase, particularly with the changes in NDIS with regulations and seeing a lot of providers just leave the sector. So that'll give us a lot of work, a huge pipeline. And that's a long-term joint venture, right? The second part is the affordable housing, which is both built to rent and also built to sell. So for that one there, we'll probably be focused on modular housing. There's some great manufacturers overseas, and they provide some fantastic houses, which is fully furnished. Everything will be included, and the quality is fantastic. Gone are the days where they used to look like caravans, really, and now they look like houses. And some of these are also used for high density
Mm.
residential and commercial property. So that's what we'll do. But everything that we do, whether it's disability or whether it is affordable housing, it's all under one umbrella in terms of our auditing, which is really the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And we've chosen 7 that we work towards. So this means that every project that Nova Castle does incorporates certain environmental incentives, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's water management, usage of sustainable building materials, also close to transport, schools, health services, and security for in the individual and the property as well. And that's really just to give it, a uh, well, I think there then we're also going to be auditing, right? So all of that would be audited by
Yeah.
a third party, which is extremely important. So we can really show investors that their funds are going into something that is providing a return, but also social impact. And these are the areas that we are impacting.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so that's basically what we're trying to achieve. And obviously, in our discussions with you, we want to do a raise of 40 million Aussie for an equity stake in the Nova Castle Social Impact Fund.
Yeah. So I think where you're focusing on, and especially over the last few months, it's come to light. It's more prevalent that the housing affordability and the undersupply of housing in Australia is at the forefront of most discussions. It came out in the budget that a lot of the tax changes were around trying to increase housing supply. So I think you're targeting an area that has a lot of need. There's a lot of demand for it.
Yeah, look, I think this is a 26-year problem in the making. It
Mhm.
started probably early 2000 and it just got continuously worse. People talk about population growth and that sort of thing. I think that's fantastic that we were able to, you know, increase our population. But there's just a lot of other issues that have surrounded why the shortages exist. The reality is they're there now, and we have to deal with it.
Mhm.
This is a good way of dealing with it, particularly with modular housing. Things can be built a lot faster. They can be built and brought into Australia, landed within about, I don't know, 8 to 9 months, and on site, fully fitted within a couple of weeks. So that can be a huge turnaround. But yeah, the demand is massive.
Yeah. So maybe touch on the affordable housing. Sorry, the modular homes part, because while I've done a little bit of research into the space and I know um, how incredible these products are coming, and how quickly they can be put up. But through your research, maybe touch on that, because a lot of people may not have been exposed or done some research into the modular homes. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so obviously there are manufacturers here in Australia. We're obviously, because it's affordable, it has to be price orientated as well. Also keeping a high standard and also within the Australian standards as well. We found a couple of manufacturers in Asia, one in particular that does already sell a lot into New Zealand in particular. They and they've done some fantastic work. I've seen what they've done. We've seen some videos of walkthrough as well. We've spoken to the representatives here in Melbourne a number of times, and the quality is just excellent. There's absolutely no way you would be able to identify that it was a modular home, and the banks now lend money against or for those homes if there's a purchaser there as well. So and the good thing also that, as I mentioned, they will come fitted, especially for the disability sector. We'll make sure that with our joint venture with our partners that we're providing everything, with whether it's beds, TVs, plates, everything. Because you can imagine bringing all that in from Asia, it's just going to be a lot cheaper than sourcing it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're quite excited about that. And the great thing is, you can go, I don't know, 6, 7 stories with them. And it's just amazing how you see them put it all together. And it's just quick and it's just fantastic. It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I've done a bit of research into this space, and working with a group that's looking at building hotels, casinos, housing in other
Yeah.
markets, and they're using they've engaged a builder that operates in that modular piece, and everything is modular these days, from housing to skyscrapers to buildings to even oil refineries. You can get modular oil refineries, and it all goes together for a lot less than what traditional methods would be, and a lot faster. So the building aspect of it is pretty incredible, and the fact that you can get a house built in a few weeks, like you said, that's pretty special.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, traditionally they used to look like portables, just
yeah,
but with vinyl floors and everything else. That's gone. It's
yeah,
far more sophisticated now. But the good thing also is we are sort of circumventing the shortage of labour. We're circumventing the increase in a lot of supply costs, raw materials, that sort of stuff. So this is already, as I said, already done, already built. So and by doing that, our costs are going to be a lot lower, which means we're going to be really competitive in that affordable market. There's no point in saying you're going to deal in the affordable market and your product isn't affordable. You know,
Yeah.
you're just selling it like you would normally to the open market. That's not really what we want to do. We
Yeah.
want to make
So
sure it is below market prices.
yeah, awesome. So tell me about the fund and the momentum that you've had since the idea was founded.
Yeah. So what's happened in the last maybe 6 to 12 months? We have raised some capital. The quite a bit. This will come via the charity that we're partnering up with. And you know, there's been a lot of people who just want to see this come to fruition, get
Yeah,
going. They get it. There's a lot of aspects to it. Um, it's not just a catchphrase with affordable housing. There's a lot of stuff there with the a pipeline for the disability housing, this overarching compliance that we have with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which gets audited. So that makes sense. We're responsible for what we do, and we're serious about it because we're putting it down in, you know, by employing these. A third party compliance firm to actually do our auditing for us in regards to this. So a lot of people are quite interested. We just want to get to the next stage. Need to get some more critical mass.
yeah, yeah. Okay. And you said you're raising $40 million
Yes,
Australian.
yes,
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
yes,
So I mean, this is a fund that is not just targeting um an in-demand issue that's going to be in demand for the next decade at least,
yeah,
and if not beyond, as population grows. But it is something that has that impact side of things as well. So investors who are
yeah,
looking at not just capital returns or investment returns, but they're looking at that impact piece. I think this is a very special opportunity because it's
yeah,
it's property, it's housing, it's something that you understand that doesn't need a lot of education around the industry, but also has that impact where you're doing something good. You're you know
yeah. Absolutely. It really does bring together the notion that you can create a business and do business, but also providing a social good as well. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can be operated and done together if it's done properly. I think the world's changing. Maybe 30 years ago, this is an idea that was a little bit too fanciful. But today, I think people are really opening their minds towards something like this, and I think it's absolutely achievable. And you know, people have been doing this type of work anyway. So yes, it is a unique situation, and we're quite excited about it.
okay. Now, is there anything that you think investors should know about this opportunity? Anything that stands out? Anything that you think is investor worthy?
Um, I think all of it is investor worthy because you know we are dealing with two sectors. The disability sector, there's a lot of demand there. There's a lot of opportunity there. It's not going to change. It's going to get the demand's going to increase over time. Affordable housing is a massive opportunity in itself, and that's not going to change. You know, in the next, I don't know, 20 plus years. It takes a long time to build a house. And, you know, we need tens of thousands of them. So for all that to happen, it's going to take some time. Um, I mean, the other thing that we do is we allocate a percentage of our profits to charities because we recognize we can't do everything. We're not an expert. So there's a lot of charities that we want to donate to that has to do with mental health. We're really big advocates of mental health
Yeah.
and children charities as well. I donate personally already to some of them, but this would be another vehicle that would donate to those other charities as well. So we really want to hammer the point to everybody, to investors, that yes, you're going to make profit. That's okay. These are good areas to make profit in, but we're also going to be doing good, and we'll be doing that hand in hand.
Okay, awesome. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. It has been
Sure.
a great conversation. I think you're doing something that's worthwhile and
Right.
has the ability to make a profit, to give
Yeah,
investor returns.
exactly.
Anybody who's watching this episode who wants to find out more, please reach out to my team and we can connect you straight through to Danny. Thank you very much for jumping on. It's been great to chat.
Pleasure. Thanks so much.